myself. Looks like Dan just took his salt and threw it in the pool so that he could show it off.
They're called salts. They're not called chlorines, Dan.
I don't know that chlorines are going to bother it either.
I don't know. It might come out with some weird color. It might come out yellow.
Yeah. God forbid they're yellow.
Yeah.
Welcome to FFIB, everybody. I'm Jason. That's Tom. We're Finger Flicked and Box. We're both wearing green today in honor of
the forest.
Nature Box. Nature Box is a subscription service where you can get snacks to your home in snack-sized snack packages. Tom, I don't know about you, but I like snacks.
They're snacktacular.
They are. There's all sorts of, and not only are they delicious, but they're good for you. Your mom would be proud that you ate Nature Box. So go over and over to naturebox.com and type in the promo code PM2 for a discount. Did you see the Pam stuff today?
Yeah, I did. I commented on a Pam. I added my own Pam to it.
That made me laugh.
Don't talk about eating Mom's Nature Box, though. No Mom's Nature Box being eaten around here. That sounds good.
Let's move away from that. Paula's here. Hi, Paula. Jace is here. Greg's here. Facebook user. You know, Tom, we have a lot of people that attend a lot of shows, but I think Facebook user might be our most loyal guest.
Oh, my God. The best. I love that profile pic, too.
Yeah, we're both matchy today. I don't know what's going on. Just accident, I guess. I wore the shirt last night, but only for a little while, and then I took it off and it went on the floor. And then this morning I woke up and I put it on after the shower, and then I kind of wore it all day, and now here we are.
There you go.
I ain't fancy. Adam McCoy's here. What's up, Adam? I miss you, buddy. How you doing? I hope you're doing good. Dan's out of the pool. Dan, I hope the salt made it.
Oh yeah. If not, just go throw it at some crazy animal in your backyard, I'm sure.
There's a gag going on in the group right now I don't understand. Maybe you can help me, Tom.
I'll try.
What is the Victor Medina cheap knives thing?
Oh, so you know how we all spent all this money on this hobby so we can have really cool knives?
I have noticed that happens.
Spend more money to buy something you don't want and then carry that instead, and force yourself to carry it. So it's a challenge. Because if it was a good thing to do, it'd just be called carry a cheap knife. It wouldn't be called carry a cheap knife challenge, right? Because it shouldn't be hard if it's good. I don't know.
Is the goal to out cheap each other?
I don't actually know. I don't know where this original post stemmed from. I've only seen the post of people posting like that they failed the challenge and they were apologizing, or that they got a new knife that violated the challenge rule somehow.
This is clever. I have a suggestion for you. Are you carrying the Sodbuster Jr. that I sent you? You still have it?
Only in the best case, the gray case. When I bust out the gray case, you know, I mean, something cool is coming out.
I wish I had bought more of those cases.
I don't have enough. It keeps me. It's like a diet, or pant size. I can't outgrow my storage anymore. Uh-oh, Jason's frozen. Yoink. Well, here's the Sodbuster. Let's see if we can zoom in with this super cool new camera. Sodbustin'. So, cool slip joint. Sometimes Jason sends me weird stuff in the mail. And the fact that he asked me if I still have it confirms that he sent this to me without any good intention of actually having me keep it. He just thought it was funny. It does say it's stainless. It is a Case XX. I didn't know I owned Case XX knives. If you ever want to get scammed, go on the Case Knives group, because it's basically all scammers. From judging by people that are scammers that join our group, they all are in the Case Knives group. So that's a good place to go. Uh-oh. We are back in business.
I warned you. I can't explain it. I don't know what happened.
All I know, Jason, is MacBook Airs are on sale for $949 today at Best Buy. Just FYI. Just an FYI.
Yeah, it sounds nice, but I'm too busy buying bacon Zerk Veros. So
that's a good point.
Yeah,
I'm too busy busting this bad boy out.
I don't understand what.
You don't understand what?
I'm trying to understand what this knife's purpose is. It's not really for cutting things.
It's for
It's not for
busting sod. It's for cutting chunks of grass out. Is my grass cutting knife. If I was going to cut a chunk of grass out, I guarantee this is the knife I would use because it's a good knife for cutting grass.
I mean, I think if I could buy 3 chocolate cake milkshakes or that knife, I would rather buy the 3 chocolate cake milkshakes.
I'll settle for just a piece of chocolate cake.
Well, when you order the large one, Tom, there's 2 slices of cake in it.
That sounds excessive. I saw your video, your Portillo's video. I don't know if I don't know. I feel like I should have been more excited for it, but it looked kind of like it looked too rich for me, I guess is what it was. It looked too decadent.
Well, I guess you'll just have to try one and find out.
I guess I will.
Yeah. It's got cutting hail bale twine and scraping mud off your boots.
Ooh, scraping off the boots knife.
I do believe in using something for its intended purpose. So if I had to scrape mud off my boots, I don't know that I'd use a pocket knife. But yeah, I don't mean to shit on Case, but I don't know. It feels like tradition ought to yield to progress when it comes to making knives. And in the case of Case, their customers don't seem to want them to move away from tradition. So I guess there's something to be said, Tom, about building what they want.
I was about to say, is it been tradition that they're always made in China? But this one actually says USA on it. I didn't know that. I thought this would be a China knife.
Honestly, yeah, for the most part, their knives are USA as far as I know. So when you consider the price and the location, then that's something. But that doesn't improve it as a knife. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It would be like getting a used trash bag and then saying,
Ew.
I don't know that I can do anything with this used trash bag. It has a hole in it. And then someone responds with, yes, but Scarlett Johansson used to own it. And you're like, this had Scarlett Johansson's trash in it. Yes. But now it doesn't. Correct. And then it's got a hole in the bottom. Mm-hmm. Well, ScarJo's trash bag doesn't make it better. I don't understand. That was a random fast metaphor, but you guys know what I'm saying. It's just made in the US. I'm happy for that, but it also doesn't really knife well.
No, you know what?
Mudbuster was a term for a farmer, Tom.
I'm a farmer. I grew up with a farmer. I'm going to start busting some sod. You know what? No clip. I'm just going to carry it.
Hold on. That's a Sodbuster Jr., and you, sir, are the son of his farmer. So
I'm a Sodbuster Jr.
You are the Sodbuster Jr.
Yeah. This is made
Tom's
for me.
Nickname.
It's very, I don't know. It feels nice in hand, actually, surprisingly.
It feels nice in the hand, he says.
It does. Nice, smooth material of some sort of another that they made this handle out of.
We're going to go with hashtag SBJ for Tom. Well, Tom.
Yes, sir.
I heard a rumor. You might have, you might know something about a tiger.
What?
Yeah. Do you remember conversations about a tiger knife?
I know one time, last time we talked about tiger, you were telling me we need to put some tattooed dragon from tiger from hell on the coin. That's all I know about tigers. Is there's one on the coin?
Yes, I'd like to see a tattooed tiger from hell on the back of the coin. We did that last year. Well, you got the same update I did, And Cutlery Shop has put eyes on our exclusive M398 PM2. And we nicknamed it the Tiger because we knew we wanted it. We knew it wanted to be orange. And we went with the steel that hasn't been used yet. And there's another secret feature about this knife that we're not going to talk about.
There is. There is one big thing that becomes very obvious to anyone that sees it when they see it.
I'm debating whether or not we ever tell anybody until they arrive. Or should we?
I think, oh my God, what if we have Jeff sell them without even saying what's going to happen?
I don't know it's possible because Spyderco will issue their pictures.
They're bullshit. I mean, they're great photography. That's very color accurate and perfect.
Moving on, Spyderco will have their own photos, but what we need to talk about today is that the knives are being assembled as we speak. Samples have been seen. A delivery ETA was given, and I don't want to feel comfortable sharing that. So we're just going to go ahead and not talk about when, but I would say soonish.
This year-ish would be good.
This year is likely. So the fact that the samples have been seen, completed samples, soup to nuts, I couldn't be happier about. And I also have to talk a little bit about the steel.
Please do.
M398 is a very high carbide stainless steel. You're going to find that it's extremely, extremely stainless. And that has to do with the high chromium content in the steel. So it actually has 30% carbides. So if you think about the mass of the steel, it's only 70% iron and it's 30% everything else, which is a lot. This knife is going to have the edge retention comparable to 125V. It's going to be superior than 110V, superior to S90V. The edge retention is going to be extremely high. So you'll have an extremely stainless, extremely high edge retention steel. The toughness is going to be approximately the same as ZDP 189. And then my very favorite feature about the steel, Tom, is that Sean Houston, Triple B, did in fact work on the steel. So if you guys out there have anything with 15V on it, you already have seen his logo and you know his work. And he is a master at fine-tuning and refining a heat treatment to optimize the steel's potential. So very happy that he's along for the ride on that. He's already an amazing guy and an awesome dude, and consider him a friend. But on top of that, he's kind of put his mark on this. So if you compare this knife to the Mule Team, what you should find is that the edge retention is slightly better, and you should find that the edge wear is let's see, it becomes less toothy with use. So really happy and excited about that. We're just couldn't be happier. At the time we picked it, we just knew that it was a redonkulous steel, but to have it bench tested and turn out so good is pretty good.
Let's be honest, Jason. We had some emotional ups and downs with this steel over the last 4 years of doing this, talking about it just about. We've had some ups and downs with, so I'm excited to see what our M398 that's cooked by the big brown bear himself, what it tastes like.
I'm not scared at all because this steel has been embraced by the crazy Russian knife makers for a long time. If you go over to Europe, you're going to find that all the premium knife makers have been using it for a while. So
like my mind, Gorovs and stuff like that.
Yeah, you find it all over Shiro's, Herman's. There's a lot of them over there that use it, and they're not afraid of it, and they know that it's a great steel if you take care of it and use it right. So really excited to see this potentially come to a conclusion. So yeah, stay tuned here. Well, any news we have, we're going to break as Jeff feels comfortable unveiling things. Then we'll talk about it. But Cutlery Shop is going to be the only place where you can buy it. And I'm sure that Jeff has some tricks up his sleeve for some freebies and some things that we can do. There will be an option where you can have a tiger added to the knife. So you will be able to get a Tiger on it, and pretty stoked about that. We're considering, Tom, I talked to Jeff Friday. He's considering doing a pre-sale.
I don't know how this is going to work. I don't know how it's going to work in general. So me and Jason got to experience the pain that goes into at least assisting, observing, selecting the quantity of knives that are selected for a contract. It's a hard thing. Like I said, we've been working on this for years. So to predict what this is going to be like, if a preset. So
I'm kind of interested to know what the 21 people online right now, what they think. Whether or not they think it's a good idea or a bad idea. Part of me likes the pre-sale concept because you can get in line and you'll know you'll get one. Maybe we pre-sale some of them and then we live drop the rest.
But how is a pre-sale any different than just a drop?
Kind of isn't.
It's just you don't ship it at the same time.
Yes.
We're gonna have the only.
Well, you say it like that, and now I don't see a reason why.
The only benefit of doing a pre-sale is there's less people, because if you're like, I'm not gonna pre-order a knife, there is less people than an actual drop, but it is literally the same thing.
It is the same thing. You're just dropping it without shipping.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, good, great point, Tom. Don McGregor, you must wipe your cookies every time you close Facebook or you're on Facebook on a browser, because it definitely forgets you every single time. We see it now. We've thought long and hard about how do we get them only to the club, and Spyderco's not crazy about the idea. I'll be honest with you. And I understand their point. They're like, listen, we've got customers all over the world that will want this knife. And for you to only sell it in a Facebook group is kind of mean and exclusionary. And I kind of get their point. That doesn't mean we're not going to try to figure out.
But there also is a knife with the radio station's logo on it. There's a knife that says Bayou Shooter on it. No one wants that except for those people. It's the same thing.
Not really the same thing.
Kinda.
I guarantee Bartram's got one of the Bayou Shooters, and he's not no Bayou. He ain't no Bayou boy. They should join. That's right. Maybe they should be here. Oh, Tom, this stupid camera. I have my look at this. I'm centered in the camera, right? My laptop's turned 30 degrees off center in order to put me in the middle. If I point the
little camera, the built-in webcam?
The little crappy camera that I have on top of my monitor.
Oh, okay.
Good grief. So it won't be Millie branded. We decided that we didn't want to brand it Millie, and the reason is that in 20 years, when you guys do your family photo of all your PM2s, we don't want this one to look like ridiculously different from the rest. When you think about like the Forum knife from 2019, it has the engraving on the blade, and it makes it look dramatically different. The Bayou Shooter knife looks dramatically different, and we wanted our knife to look like all the others. So we don't want people to make fun of it later because we're just a dumb Facebook group. We want it to be the kick-ass knife that came out of the Millie Club. So that was really the thinking behind leaving the logo off, because we could have put the club logo on the side of it. We could have put Millie Club. We could have written Tom's name and my name and Comic Sans or something like that. But it just didn't seem like a good, tasteful choice for the collectors out there. I want them to love this knife as much as we do. Those are the details. It has M398 steel. It's going to be in orange G10. It's going to be available in satin first, DLC second. The satins are shipping soonish. The DLCs will ship after. So we'll do 2 drops.
The details in the club knives. That's
PM2s.
There's knives.
I think it's knives. It is a PM2. All kinds of rumors out there about it being all kinds of things.
I said Mannix in a video just as an offhanded joke, like 3 or 4 years ago when this was being hinted about. And someone on a post I put up there today goes, "Is the Mannix finally coming out?" And I'm like, "What are you Oh, one time I made a joke about that. People hang on to these words. So this information gets out there and people cling on to whatever they can. It's not a Mannix.
Fair point.
It's not a Mannix.
So I'm excited.
I'm very excited.
I've got scales I intend to put on it. I'm not sure though. I might just leave it stock.
You're only going to have one? Really?
No, I'll have more than one.
So you'll have one stock and one not stock. That'll be fine.
I'll wait for those posts about I'm chasing a grail and I hate to sell it, or ordered one and my wife got me one too and I have one extra. What are the other common ones?
Not for me.
Not for me. Ordered it and changed my mind.
Accidentally ordered to
Headed to the post office.
Oh, if you're headed to the post office, I better hurry up and buy whatever you got.
I wasn't going to buy it, but you're headed to the post office. Now I know that I need it in my life.
I'm glad that your day became more convenient. I should buy a knife from you.
Damn, Patrick. That's a good idea. You should head over to Rip's Garage Tech and get some Millie graffiti scales so you can put it on the knife. That's a damn fine idea.
Patrick Bryan joined us last night on StreamYard Live.
What's he like?
Hanging out. He was
does
chill.
he have a deep, sonorous voice?
Yeah, I'd say so. Sonorous is a good term.
I love that word, sonorous.
He was flicking some stuff. He had a bunch of knives with him. He was showing off.
Right on.
Yeah, so last night you guys missed the party. I fired this app up that me and Jason are on right now, and I posted the link to Facebook, and a whole 4 people, which is not nothing, clicked on the link, and we just hung out and talked, and it was a great time. And I would love more people to come join me next time I do it.
I fell asleep about 9 o'clock on the bed, and then I snored away until 11 when my wife came to bed, and then I climbed under the covers and went to sleep. So I caught up last night.
We wrapped up at around 11:40, and I was like, okay, I'm going to bed. I'm tired. I go to my bed. I walk over to my side of the bed, and Kim is sleeping on my side of the bed. So that's weird. I go to my side of the bed, and my daughter is sleeping on her side of the bed next to my. The whole family was in the bed last night when I went to bed, apparently. So that's why we all slept together. It was quite crowded.
These scales are money, Tom.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, I have the Anno Fade with the gold in it, and I don't love it because the gold changes color a lot. Yeah. I wish I'd gone with the purple green because the greens are pretty stable color.
Yeah.
And the purple's pretty stable. This would be the way to go. We're trying really hard to get Rips on the show, guys. Steve Ripplinger is super busy, and he has a large family, and they're always together, and they do a lot of family stuff. And on the weekends, he tries to prioritize his kids because he's a busy man during the week. So I respect that a lot. And we're trying to get him on the show, but it's just a matter of scheduling. Right now, we're trying to get him tomorrow night.
He's scheduled tomorrow night at 9 o'clock.
Pending illness.
Pending, if you can do it earlier, he can go earlier if you can go earlier.
Might be able to get him on the show, but I'd love to get him in front of everybody and we could talk about his business a little bit because there are many people in this knife industry that are awesome, and he's among the best that I've met. Just decent, honorable dude, hardworking, and makes an awesome product. So let's see if we can get him on the show tomorrow. Paula votes for the purple green. Blake votes for the green ones. Will there be a whole series? I don't know. I don't think so. Probably not. This one took 4 years.
These took 4 years.
So I don't know. I'm skeptical, guys.
I think the current wait time to book a new exclusive is 4 years or something like that. Something like that-ish.
I know a tip of the iceberg number for exclusives in the pipeline, and I also know that Spyderco changed their prioritization of those, but it's still years and years and years of work. So there's just a ton of them out there, guys. If you're patient, you'll wait and you'll get some cool stuff coming down the pipeline. I don't know if he's a scholar and a gentleman. So that's the thing, Don. If we reorder right now, it could probably be another 4-year wait. So as we have not intended to reorder.
So this could be a whole series of knives, but by the time that we were able to do a whole series of knives, there's going to be other knives that come out.
We missed the window of opportunity to put in 12 exclusive orders in a row.
Yeah.
And, you know, frankly, if this turned out to be a dog and a terrible seller, then you have all those others coming. It's pretty bad. So we can't do that.
I can't count how many times we talked with Jeff, and I don't remember where it ended up. Like, how many do we order? How big is the Facebook group? How fast is it growing? What percentage of those people are going to buy it? Are they going to buy one or two? Are they going to buy the DLC and the satin, or just going to get one of them? It's a complex, major financial investment that me and Jason made with somebody else's money.
Yeah, that can't be overstated. It wasn't our money, guys, and you didn't have to pay a dime until it's ready. So that's pretty important. Another thing we thought about was, you know, before COVID, when we started talking about this, we were bullish about the growth of the club, and it was growing big. And then at one point, we went massive on the order because we knew that by the time it was ready, we'd be able to handle it. And then COVID hit, and knife sales went through the roof. I mean, literally everyone was selling knives hand over fist. It seemed like there was no amount too big that we couldn't handle. And then all of a sudden, the economy went a little weird. And all of a sudden, everybody's a little more conservative with their money, and money's not going as far as it did before, and cost of living is getting more expensive, and
PM2s aren't cool anymore.
People are backing off on knives. Yeah, and that's the other part. There's an ass load of knives out there that are all the kind of same knife coming over and over and over, and people got sick of PM2s. So one thing we had to think about was, you know, if I order 5,000 of these, will 5,000 sell, or will somebody go out of business? So, you know, we had to really be mindful about that.
That also plays on like the branding and how Jeff's going to have final say, and it'll probably be a surprise to us on some degree what actually goes out, but there's a lot that goes into this. Like, how exclusionary do you make it? Like, if you make it too club related, then what if people in the club don't even want it? What if it's too specific? What if it's too general? Like, this has been a complicated thing we've been dealing with for years, getting pushed around, and things change, and COVID happened, but this has been a very long time experience trying to get this through. And we see now that dealers go through this. Every dealer goes through this stuff. And it's frustrating, and you get pushed back, and you get told that it's going to be ready, and it's not ready. And so that's why when people, like, you guys ask these dealers, like, what's coming out? Like, they can't tell you because of this. Like, we couldn't really tell you this, and we still really can't. And it's been almost 4 or 5 years of this. It's getting close, though.
I need to soapbox for a minute. For Jeff and Cutlery Shop to take a chance on this all those years ago is we're so grateful for it, but it's so uncommon that this would happen. And there's no Facebook group that I know of that's managed to land an exclusive knife like this. So we're very grateful for that. And in return, I would ask that you guys think about the give and take and the reciprocity of that. Like, if we have dealers supporting the club and donating items to be given away when we hit milestones and participating in the group, and, you know, when we have dealers that are doing that, I would ask you to please consider buying from them. They don't pay us anything. Tom and I are not paid sponsor weasels for anybody. And these dealers that support the group do it because they think that they're going to grow their business by you guys buying knives from them, because you need a place to buy knives, and they have knives to sell. And Tom and I like the fact that we can take a dealer with knives and we can show them to customers that want knives, and then everybody can be friends with each other. That's the harmony of that is wonderful. So before you buy from Amazon, or before you go to Cabela's doesn't help us. They don't support us. They charge too much too. They don't charge MAP. So don't buy knives from Cabela's, please. Don't buy them at Walmart. Think about buying them from a dealer. And they're out there and they're helping us and they're supporting the club and they're part of the club and they like the club as much as you do. And I don't know. And even Tom, we need to come up with a number. At some point we need to write it down and actually like be deliberate about it. But there's got to be 30 stores that are in our club. If I had to put a number on it.
Oh, yeah.
And then those are just the ones we know about.
It's at this point, there was a few, because I used to keep a list of them, and it's now way outdated, and it's grown, and there's new dealers since then, and all sorts of stuff. But I can go down my bookmarks folder and look at, like, I have, my knife bookmark folder. I can name someone from just about every single store in the group. Or if I can't name them, I know that there's someone in the group that works there at least.
Yeah. So these guys like knives too, and they like the fact that this is a cool place to hang out and talk about knives where we don't get on each other's asses and we don't fight and we don't pick fights and we don't argue about politics and we don't argue about religion and we don't get carried away, and we have to be nice to each other. And we show each other's collections off. We show our collections off and we celebrate each other. We help each other when we're down. We pick each other up, look out for each other. That stuff makes for a community that's wonderful and a fun place to be. And I'm not telling you where to spend your money, but I would ask you to please look at these knife stores before you decide to buy a knife. And there's nothing wrong with secondary. Buy all the knives on the secondary you want. That's fine too. But where they lose is when we go to Amazon, when we buy it from Ops Focus, when we buy from I said Ops Focus and I mean it, but that's not what I was reaching for. I was reaching for what's the other one called? Optics Planet.
Oh, Optics
Planet. Optics Planet. Ops Focus too.
Like Midway USA, Amazon.
We should be looking out for our dealers because they're a part of the club. So, and I know, listen, you guys that are watching, you're already on board. I'm hoping that people who watch the show tomorrow or watch Monday, I hope they hear me and hear me out.
So this is a good example Paul brought up. And not only should you support Freight Unlock, safeunlockstore.com, because Hope's awesome, but this is the example of, like, I used to get questioned on this a lot more about, like, how I could always get knives or why did I always get sprint runs. If you are a repeat customer of a business and you develop a relationship with the owner of a business, sometimes they're really good about, like, shooting you an email saying, hey, guess what just came into stock or whatever. So if you support small dealers like Safe and Lock Store, you have an opportunity to actually become friends with the actual owner of a business who will think about you when stuff comes in. So you don't have to support every dealer in the group. There's too many of them. But find some dealers that you like that support us, and it will make this hobby a lot better.
Yeah. If we look out for each other and we take care of each other, then everyone wins, right? And if all the dealers go out of business and we're only buying direct from the maker, then they're going to raise prices and then they don't have to discount anything and there's no competition for their product and there's only one place you can go to buy it. And great example of that might be Apple. Only when something's obsolete does it go on sale and everybody has to pay the same price regardless of where you buy it. They control the flow of their product in a way that's there's no competition in it. So either you buy an Apple or you don't. You buy the Samsung. And we want competition because competition leads to improved products. It leads to companies trying to one up each other. If Benchmade goes and buys a new state-of-the-art grinding system and ZT doesn't have it, then all of a sudden they're at a disadvantage. And ZT now needs to look themselves in the mirror and go, are we making knives or not? And we need to go get it too, and then if everybody raises their prices, it won't be long before somebody goes, hey, I know what to do. I'm going to lower mine and we're going to go steal some market share. So the competition of having multiple dealers and multiple vendors and places to buy stuff is good for you and I. It's good for the buyers.
It's also on the same kind of track of thought. Like, this used to happen a lot more when, like, let's say a knife that wasn't super popular was sitting in stock on a shelf and people would think it's funny. People like, oh, good, it's not selling out. That sucks. Fuck that person. That's bad for this whole hobby. It doesn't matter who it is. Like, healthy competition and stuff selling and moving and getting out into the community without like a negative attitude about it is very important in this hobby. Ooh. Okay, well, that's going to have to happen for sure.
Somebody screenshot that. If the PM2 does well, I'll move forward on the Para 3 next. We've already discussed it with Spyderco. There you go. From the man himself. You know what? Jeff, maybe you can answer that. Is it the belt grind satin or is it the tumbled satin that we would see on a Maximate? I don't remember.
I remember we discussed this. Is what's funny. We've talked about this like 10 times, and I don't remember what the answer is anymore.
Well, I just don't know that you can know these things. I think they just show up and they are what they are. I don't.
I remember one time we were talking about like the DLC ones could do, or I don't even know. I don't remember what it was.
Jeff tells us they are belt satin.
I'm good with that. I like belt satin. Look honestly better than stonewashed. Oh shit!
It's not going to work on the camera, but that does. If you guys opened up your 15Vs, you know there's a little detent path that's been burnished into the blade. These knives have that as well. So, this thing should be a skookum choocher. My mom just texted me and said we've officially watched all the Top Gear episodes. My mom and dad have watched every Top Gear episode.
There's 35 seasons of that show.
Yeah.
Well, although the seasons are only 6 episodes long, that's a lot of Top Gear.
I should tell them how many times you've watched The Office.
It's triple digits, I'd guess. So I'm guessing you saw what I just saw?
Of course he's going to be getting Sage 5 Rex 121s. Why wouldn't he get those? Saw what you saw.
On your phone.
Oh, my.
He's tempting us.
Yeah, we're not going to show these yet, Jeff. We decided we're not going to talk about that as long as possible.
Because we don't want to break the internet yet, Jeff. I mean, come on.
I got to tell you something. I was grumpy about these. I'm still grumpy. I'm a lot less grumpy now.
It's like they just kept on feeding us things like, oh, you want Triple B to cook it? Oh, you want this other thing? Here's an extra year. Here's an extra year.
Wow. We're getting close, man.
Pretty close. Me and Jason are looking at a picture of the knife right now, and you guys can't see it, but it's really cool. What? That one?
Yep.
You gonna play pause game now?
It's the worst kind.
Way better. I think these guys would be more dedicated than seeing something actually on the pause game. A knife? Oh, that's even better.
Yeah, I think you're right. Let's see here. Surely I have new knife crap going on. Let me look.
Are you looking for something to show off just in general that's come in?
Oh, I know. Torture somebody. Tom, you want to meet my new custom redback?
Ooh, that's Kapara, right?
No.
It looks like a Kapara.
It does look like a Kapara. No, this was literally handmade by Alistair Phillips. This is, he titled it the Boldly Go.
The what?
Boldly Go.
Boldly Go.
And we went with Boldly Go, specifically in reference to Star Trek, because the blue and the silver. So When you think about like the Starship Enterprise, it had the blue
yes,
engine parts and then the silver, right? So this knife has a good story attached to it, and I have with a happy ending anyway. There was a I'm going to use a little parlance from Australia. There was a bogan down in Australia that claimed to have cancer, and this guy was a no good. He pretended to have cancer, and he asked for help. And the community down there, the knife community, raised lots of money for this person. And I think it might have gone beyond the knife community. The guy got all the way to Alistair, and Alistair agreed to make a knife for him as a way to raise money for charity or something like that. I think everybody was chipping in to pay for the knife, perhaps. So Alistair started making this knife, and it's a left-handed redback. So the blade had been cut, and the liners and the parts had been cut, and then the scales had been roughed out. And so Alistair basically committed all the materials to this knife. There's no going back at that point. It was found out that this person was not suffering from cancer, that he was lying the whole time, deceiving the world. So he was drummed out and run out. And according to Dan, he had a very bad day. So this the knife parts sat in a drawer at Alistair's shop, and Alistair was pretty dejected because he had wasted these materials on a knife that he would never be able to find another customer for. So around that time, Dan had become friends with Alistair, and he knew a guy in America that would probably buy a knife sight unseen, and he's also left-handed. That's me. So he contacted Alistair and said, I know a guy that would probably pick up that knife. And Alistair contacted me, and we had a conversation. And I said, absolutely, I'd love to own one of your knives. Sounds great. And the color scheme was already kind of set with the silver twill, right? It had already been cut out. And I knew he couldn't recycle any of the parts. So I didn't really ask him to change anything on it. But the one request I had was, how about we go blue on the pivot and blue on the screws and go blue on the backspacer?
Nice.
And the other thing I asked him to do was, can you make me a pocket clip that has more clearance underneath it?
So, nice.
If you guys go get a caliper and you measure a Spyderco clip, either wire or the steel, you'll find that it's 140 thousandths from the bottom of the clip to the scale. And that's why they sit so good in your pocket, because there's enough gap to get around the seam on your jeans. And a lot of custom knives are a lot closer. Those guys will go closer to 90 thousandths because they want the clip to be closer to the handle so people's hands don't hurt. So asked Alistair to make it taller. He goes, I'll try to figure it out. So he did. That was 2 years ago.
Nice.
So over the last 2 years, he's a busy person. He is a dad. He's a black belt martial artist, and then also he has a day job. So he does not make knives full time. So I don't know how many knives he makes here, but I don't think it's a lot. I was under I gave him no pressure, just checked in from time to time. But he messaged me recently and said, your knife's done. Sent me some photos, and now it's here.
Nice.
So I am very pleased with it. It's a lovely knife. I did tweak it a little bit, so it's got some nice flick and flop. It's a washer knife, not a bearing knife. So it opens wonderfully. It makes a really nice sound. It doesn't really sound like the Spyderco version. It's funny, the compression lock is really strange to me because it's a left-handed compression lock.
Yeah.
It's so weird to actually have a regular lock that I can operate like you guys.
On a Kapara-shaped knife where it's impossible to do otherwise.
It's the other part. Now in the Spyderco version, the knife is thicker and there's more curvature to the handle material. On this knife, it's much flatter. So actually easier to carry and easier to hold. When I opened it up, because I'm nosy, I wanted to look inside. I opened it up and took it apart, and the pieces are exquisitely made. Really, really excellent.
Nice.
You can tell it. I think he handmade the liners too. I don't believe those were EDM'd. I think he actually cut those by hand, and you wouldn't know.
Oh wow!
Because I have other knives that are like that are handmade. Like this Doyle knife I have on my desk. This was hand cut. He did not water jet or EDM the liners, and And no slight on his work, but when you look at it, you can tell that it had been cut. But Alistair, I don't know. It's beautiful. Everything is handmade, Dan says. So I wonder how many pocket clips he went through in order to make mine. I hope it wasn't many. I hope he got it right early.
A second. I'll be right back and go solo for a minute.
All right. So you'll retire from knife chasing? I don't believe you even a little bit. You're not going to retire from knife chasing. I know. Keep begging him. I told you the other day, like, you got to try easier. Sometimes if you try too hard, it doesn't help your case. You want to be cool. Be cool. Yeah, Jerm, already got it. I have a feeling you've seen it. Did you happen to see it in its progression? So the steel on this is it's a Sanmai M390 blade, and you can see the shadow of the laminations. Looks really cool. Pretty much the same on both sides. A little bit of variation. So I don't care about that. But super sharp. I do love the slight difference in the polish, and that's just going to be due to the fact that the steel alloys are different. So those laminations give you a slightly different sheen. You can tell by looking at it that he polished it all at the same time. You can't polish the laminations differently, but they just catch light different. And if you look at the spine of the blade really close, you can see that it looks like an Oreo cookie.
Yeah,
it's got the core steel and the reinforcing steels. So, Alistair, if you see this, thank you. It's lovely. It's a beautiful knife, and I love the story behind it. I love that you whittled it by hand. It just means a lot that you did that. It also means, well, I'm less happy that you wrote the actual value of the knife on the shipping manifest that you stuck on the outside of the box and then mailed it, and it said pocket knife. That made me sweat when I came home, and I found the box on the counter, and it had been there 3 days with my wife looking at it disapprovingly. But as of now, she doesn't know it's my knife. It could be for one of you savages, right?
Just passing through.
Hey, honey, they come and go.
Yeah.
I don't know who it's for.
Catch and release, you might say. Jason's releasing it. Sounds like that's a keeper forever.
I'm going to sell it tomorrow.
Yeah. You're not going to flip it?
Definitely. Well, I got emergency bills. Catch and release. Too soon, sir. That's not the path.
That's what I've been fidgeting with while you've been showing that off. Have you ever seen one of these before?
That knife makes my head hurt. Why is it so expensive?
I don't know, but it's
why is it so expensive?
It's really fucking expensive. It's like $200.
It's a very expensive knife. Is it good?
Yeah.
Is it bad to the bone?
Yes. It's like a better compression lock than it's good. It's better than I thought Seiki was going to ever make a compression lock. I had no idea this was a compression lock until I got it in my hand.
It's like great. A Para 3 lightweight with a mini leaf blade.
So this is the Little Temperance number 3 in K390. It's a very chunky. It looks shorter than it is because it's so tall. It fills your hand up, and it's a good sized little chunky blade. I don't know. I like it.
So Dan keeps talking about the reveal on the laminated blade as a ham-on. I've never heard that term until he brought it up. But evidently that's the right term about the probably the right term for that. No. So Tom, is that one you're sharpening for a customer?
This is next up in the sharpener. It's on my desk, and I had it all queued up today to sharpen, and then I got distracted by buying a new MacBook instead of sharpening, so it's sitting on my desk. I was going to sharpen it, and then I saw my price drop on MacBook Airs happened, and I'm like, well, looks like I'm going to the store right now. So I ran out on an impulse and bought a new computer instead of sharpening today.
Nice.
So I'm not disappointed, though. It's really nice.
Patrick Bryan, you're probably right.
I haven't streamed today. I have to stream something. It'll be after this video at some point tonight. Yeah, I'm just living in the new West Coast FFIB studios right now.
Yeah.
And this has been my new hobby, and I think officially I'm finished until I find something else I need. I got a MacBook, I got 2 new cameras, got a new light, got sound paneling, put a curtain up over that window so you can't see everyone walking in and out, and glass reflecting sound. I got this arm. This arm is rad. This arm is, well, my camera's on. I can move it and do whatever I want with it. I can downfire it over my desk. So if you've been watching my live streams, you've seen me sharpening up close and personal with the blade zoomed in, downfiring like I'm a real YouTuber, like one of those Nick Shabazz kind of guys that does that stuff.
Yeah.
So it's been pretty cool.
You know, if you bring the zoom in a little bit and squeeze to your right just a little bit, then you'll only see the black background.
Oh, that's true. That is true. I got to move this camera out.
Or you could paint your printer black.
Yeah.
Ham-on is done by claying the blade during heat treat, which creates a softer spine. Your blade is San Mai. Thank you. We know you have crabs, dude. You don't have to tell everybody.
There's a new restaurant that I don't know if it's new or I just never noticed it, called Bag O' Crab. I want to go there because I like crabs in bags, apparently. I don't know what a crab bag is, but Bag O' Crab.
I think I know what a crab bag is.
A crab bag?
You said you didn't know? I'm pretty sure I know.
It's just a bag full of crab.
I think it's a bag containing crabs.
Yeah.
It's probably as simple as it sounds.
Yep. But good enough for a name of a restaurant.
By the way, guys, did you know that if you order a knife from Cutlery Shop, you can get yourself a kick-ass little patch?
Ooh.
This is a Velcro patch. Just a little mini patch, and it says Millie PM2 Para 3 Club. They look just like the flight tags.
Oh, she.
So if you're inconsiderate and you have crabs, then you'll probably just email Jeff and say, send me that crap for free. And he's a nice guy. And I'm going to tell him right now, don't, Jeff. Make them buy a knife first. So you guys buy something from them. You can get yourself some cool swag. And then, of course, on the other side, it says cutleryshop.com. And I happen to use one of these for my work keys, Tom. So when we've got door fobs on all the buildings, you know. So I just keep a key ring for work, and I just keep it in my computer bag, and I'll whip it out, get myself in the building.
I was going to say I obviously didn't get any knives because I swore I wasn't going to get a knife for 6 months until I turned 40. And then I realized I broke my rule 2 days ago, and I bought a Vero.
Yeah, let's talk about Veros for a while.
Yeah.
I want to talk about Vero again because Joseph Vero rules, and we talked about it last week. And we should talk about it again because we know that he didn't sell all of them in the pre-sale. There'll be a drop. That's just how he does it these days, I think.
The bacons are all sold. That was what he did make clear on. This is a pre-order, but the bacons were in supply based on how much steel there was, I'm sure.
Ooh. One more thing. The way you get the swag, guys, is you in the notes of your order, you write Millie Club.
M298 PM2. Put that like on every order comment you put in.
That's true. Yeah, and I don't care where you buy your crap. Put Millie Club on there. We want everybody to know where you're from.
Yeah, and you know, every dealer knows what this club is, so put it in there. It's not going to. Hopefully, it won't hurt.
Looks like we got Axon Mini frame locks coming soon, Tom. And there he is, that handsome bastard.
Handsome devil.
Look at that guy. He did dye his hair for that video, though. Michelle, don't let him dye his hair. Okay, this knife is pretty sweet. I'm really excited about this thing.
Me too.
Look at that tip, Tom.
Yeah.
And it's a hollow grind, everybody. Like if I had to beef with Joseph about his knife designs, and it's just a personal taste thing, I would say the blades are almost slightly too thick and overbuilt. So this knife should be slicey.
Pre-order is sold out. It says pre-order sold out.
Pre-order's done, everybody. How cool is that? DLC Zerk.
Ooh. What one did you get, Jason? Show off the cool one. That's the one I would have got too.
I went with the bacon and the Zerk.
Ooh, that's good looking.
See, Tom, you see all the layers?
Yeah.
So it doesn't just have 8 layers. It's more like 80. So each of those whiter areas is 10 strips. So it's kind of like Rings of Saturn. The Zerk hardware from him is beautiful. Well, I don't know what the Riot looking Zerk will look like, but on his other knives, it almost has a semi-gloss finish. Did you know that zirconium, Tom, is the same color as titanium until you hit it with a torch, and then it turns darker? Yep. Could have gone Timascus. I have enough Timascus. I like it, but I don't. I'm kind of over it in some ways. A splash of it's nice, and this is a splash. Those pivot collars look cool.
Yeah.
So pre-orders sold out. Drop information expected mid-year. So somewhere around the summertime, if you guys missed out, you should be able to pick one of these up on his drop.
I do. I mean, this is just me, guessing. I can't predict what the market is going to do. But if you ask me, this is the biggest deal Vero that's come out since like the Axon when it first dropped. Like excitement wise, I think for me anyway. Like this is like I've seen Synapses and they're great, and his Isotope, those are all great. This is the first Vero that's come out in a long time that's got me like, oh shit, it's different from his other models. It's made by a different manufacturer. I have no reason to not get it.
And if you guys are like me and you use Facebook or Instagram, you've probably noticed the Vero ads for his knives, for his kitchen knives.
Yes.
This ad has been popping up like crazy, Tom. So remember, he does make kitchen knives as well. I believe these are Nitro V blade. Nitro V is a solid choice for a kitchen knife. You want a steel that's going to be tough enough that when your wife uses it to cut your kids' chicken on their ceramic plate, it doesn't ruin the edge.
Yeah.
You wouldn't want like a 110V kitchen knife. That would be bad times. So Nitro V is a great choice. It's very easy to sharpen. It's going to take a nice edge. You can go very, very keen on the edge, and like a low angle if you wanted to. But these are beautiful. I love the V spot on the blade, even though it's not you're not going to be flicking it.
Yeah.
So his kitchen knives are available in a Chef 6 and a Utility 5. I've always been a long chef knife guy, Tom, like an 8 or a 9-inch chef knife, until I got a Russian-made owl knife with a 7-inch kitchen. And now I'm a believer. Like, you do not need a giant kitchen. You do not need a giant chef's knife for almost anything.
Yeah.
Smaller knives just work better. So this is called the utility knife. This is the knife you should reach for if you're opening his Amazon package, if you're, breaking down boxes in the kitchen, if you're trying to just cut general purpose stuff. This is not a chef's knife. Looks like they're available in black G10, ebony wood, and marbled carbon fiber. I like that it says ebony wood. What other kind of ebony is there? That looks good. Pop quiz, Tom. Should you put your kitchen knives in the dishwasher?
You can. You should. It's the best way to do it.
It is not.
That's what I do.
You should not. You should hand wash, Tom. How dare you?
I know.
Hand wash your kitchen knives, kids.
I don't really use my kitchen knives, though, so it's okay. Because I don't cook, so I use to open boxes with them or whatever.
Thanks, Angelo. I do my best to try to say it correctly, but I'm not a chemist and I'm not a metallurgist. I'm repeating what I've learned from metallurgists when I talk about it to the best of my ability, whether I read it in a metallurgist book or I learned it from Larry Thomas on his videos. That's where I try to get my information. I'm not just repeating what I read on a forum somewhere. So I'm reasonably confident. I'm over the target when I talk about it, but I'm still capable of screwing things up. So correct me if I'm wrong.
So I just opened up my Instagram to see what I've been cracking on all week. And I realized that one of the cool knives I sent back this morning, so I can't show it off, but another knife that's similar came in for the second time as this.
You've been the most anti CRK guy that I know, but having sharpened a couple dozen of them now, what's your opinion currently?
I like them. I can open them with the thumb stud. I do not like opening them with a thumb stud because it hurts. I don't think anyone's going to be too surprised at that. But with the hole, it's super easy. Like I can flick it out. Like, so this one came in. I sharpened it, and then they sent it back, and then they had the blade like acid stone washed, so I have to sharpen it again. So this will take like 2 minutes to sharpen since it's already been profiled, and I know what it's at. He said that this hole was not the best. He said that there's someone else that does better holes than the guy who did this one. But if this is a bad hole, it works well. The only thing I can notice is it's maybe like 2 millimeters from centered, which does make a difference, kind of. Obviously,
just somebody put a backspacer in it too, didn't they?
Yeah, there's a backspacer. These are different finish. I think it's different hardware, even.
Yeah, different. The pocket clip's not standard.
Yeah, this is a pretty customized knife. It's pretty badass. So one of these is going to be my 40th birthday present to myself. I like it. I like the feel of. It's obviously not meant to be flicked open. But I like the feel of the titanium in hand. It's very solid. It's very sturdy feeling. I like the sound that it locks up. I can't believe it took me so long to notice that Chris Reeves don't have a lock bar insert like this one on the Savenza.
Yeah, it kind of does. Look closer. What's in there?
Can't see anything on this one.
Is it a 21 or a 31?
I don't know.
Is the pocket clip on the lock bar exclusively, or does it also sit on the frame?
It sits on the frame, but it's also a custom pocket clip, so it might have just been angled that way.
Okay, if you pull the lock bar out of the way and look at the end of the lock bar, there should be a ball bearing in it.
Probably.
Do you remember when the first Roosevelts came out? That's what he was doing. He was putting ceramic bearings in the end of the lock bars. So
the
lockup was the bearing against the blade.
Okay.
So there's a ceramic ball in there.
I guess I'm just like, I thought it would be like a insert like a Koenig has or whatever. Like everyone always bitches. Really, it's just because everyone always bitches about the Sliz Bowie not having a lock bar insert. And like looking at this one, like, well, if a Chris Reeve doesn't have a big lock bar over travel, whatever insert, then why is people bitching about the Bowie?
Here's the reality. When you're in a Spyderco group, you're going to get a lot of bitching about no lock bar inserts because the knives in our world suck in that lockup, and they get sticky, and then people make apologies for them and they explain why that's a feature, when in reality a well-engineered knife won't stick. So I've never played with a Reeve that had lock stick, and it's because they take the time to make sure it's perfect. But for me, I really like the fact that everything they make is available left-handed. I don't think that's a small thing. That's a real pain in their butt. I really like the heft of the knife and the way it feels in the hand. The edge and the tip and the blade itself are really good for cutting. If you go with the 31 instead of the 21, the pocket clip doesn't ride on the blade, which is better.
Yeah.
I also like on the 31, there's not a second hole that just comes through the handle for no reason. Just an improvement on the knife.
Yeah.
But it's nice in the hand. It's a great size. It has a tasteful amount of jimping. It gets the job done. It feels good in the pocket. I don't know. It's just a really good knife. And then something I've come to love about Koenig, that's also true at Reeve, is they're continuously trying to improve little by little and get better and better at the one thing they do, right? And they're just getting better and better all the time. So I think there's something really cool to that. You don't have to invent a new model every year to be innovative. You can also
have to invent 10 at least. What is this rehashing of old steel, Spyderco? Blah, blah. Speaking of lock bar inserts,
looks like a goat.
This is a handsome fella right there.
Interesting. I'm sure I don't know what you're talking about, Tom.
Probably not.
Patrick Bryan, is this a large 31? This is a large 31. This is a left-handed large 31. By the way, if you don't love the inlays in your knife, you can send it to Scott
Lacey.
Scott Lacey, thank you. You send it to Lacey Millworks, and he can do new inserts for you.
Nice.
We'll talk about that on a future show.
Mm-hmm.
Invent the frame lock. Well, this lock is known as the Reeve Integral Lock. Fair point. I like that Holt is kind of reissuing their knives too.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. They're coming back out with stuff because they had the Spectre for a long time, and then it was the Haptic, and the Haptic kind of like Spectre better. But I didn't have to wait long because they were dumping the Morpheus out right after that. So now they have all of them available. It's pretty cool.
I'll be right back.
And Jason's off camera. Mr. Patrick Bryan, if you need a goat, I would say you should just chill for a moment. Just chill. I wouldn't go hunting for one just yet. Just wait. Because it's not a huge secret that exclusive can be rerun, and I have a hunch that one might be showing back up here in the next couple little bits. What else do I got? Jason's disappeared. I don't know where he went. I'm solo. I got a couple knives to sharpen. If you guys haven't checked it out yet, my live sharpening tutorials, I understand if you don't want to watch them because it sounds boring to watch someone sharpen. I wouldn't watch it myself because I sharpen all day. But if you want to hang out and ask me questions and bullshit and learn how to sharpen, or have your knife sharpened live on video so you can see how I did it so you can repeat it and do it yourself, check out my live streams that I do every day here and on YouTube. And they're all saved on YouTube for watching later if you want to go check them out.
I just had to cough my head off. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you started in there, and then I saw you disappear completely.
My eyes were watering, my throat was itching, and I'm like, I either need to get it out or I'm gonna fight it for the next half an hour. My father-in-law had one. He named it Natasha. When he left Greece to come to America at the age of 9, he had to leave Natasha behind. He was very sad.
Well, Christians, you know what? William, I think, is short or like long for Billy, like Billy the goat.
But it says no lie. Do we
no
believe
lie.
him? I believe him. Which sharpener do you like better, Tom? The Hapstone or the TS Prof?
The TS Prof, but it costs more than twice as much money. So I don't like it twice as much as the Hapstone. I like it more. mainly because there's a flaw that I have come to notice that at least one other person has the same issue. I wanted that really good sliding rod action, for the stone holder. I put Gunny Glide. Take the stone holder off. I put Gunny Glide. So here's the stone holder from the Half Stone RS. It runs fine. But when you're sharpening, sometimes it looks like and get kind of like sticky, like little sticky spots on the rod because it's just a piece of metal on a piece of metal. So you got to pay attention to keep this kind of clean. Once I put Gunny Glide on it, though, don't do that. It will make it worse because it's not meant to have that kind of lubrication on here.
Well, Tom, you should have applied the Gunny Glide and then wiped it off, and it would have left behind the graphene, making it more lubed.
It could have done that. Or I think I will try some graphite at this point. But, yeah, that's the one complaint I have about this now. I got used to the rod sticking out the end. I just sharpen a little bit differently. But it's just keeping the rod clean is just an extra step, and it's kind of my fault for getting it dirty in the first place.
I didn't watch it, and I don't want to pick a fight, but I don't like Blade HQ, so I don't watch their content.
When me and Jason say support dealers who support the group, Jason can attest to this. I have made many attempts to reach out to Blade HQ, and we were even provided with a member who's supposed to be our contact, and his initials are like BHQ or something like that. There's no follow-up, so I don't even care if I'm saying this because Blade HQ, step up your shit and get in this group if you want to get in this group.
It's a big tent. We'd love to have you be a part of it. We'd like to have a relationship with Blade HQ.
Yeah.
And it's not because we don't have a relationship that we're butthurt about this. It's that, how can I put this? I just don't find them to be very responsive in customer service. There is ironically, there is a member, Tom, in the group that is a customer service rep for Blade HQ. And he definitely tries his best, but there's one example I can think of is that anytime anybody has anything to say about Smoky Mountain, Tyler sees it and then he addresses the problem and he solves it in front of a group of 19,000 people. And
Tyler isn't just some random customer service rep. He's the CEO of the company.
When the CEO of the company is aware of a customer service issue, it doesn't happen twice. So I'm happy that we can help Tyler improve his business by showing that his company cares about their customers. And we could do the same for Blade HQ, but they're too busy and they don't want to be a part of it. So am I jealous that their cameras are better than mine? Yeah, a lot. Do I wish I had their budget and make sweet shit? Yeah, totally.
You just want donut knives for days. Donut knives for days.
Do I wish that I had back the hours of time that I've wasted waiting for a drop on a knife because their website crashed? Yeah, I do.
I don't think people that are newer to the hobby in the last couple of years remember, like, Blade HQ used to put out an exclusive like every 3 weeks for a good 2 years straight.
Right.
And every week their website would go to a crawl and I would spend 2 hours checking out to buy whatever jade knife was dropping that week.
There's also the time that their credit card information was all compromised. Oh, wait, it was twice. Anyway, Matthew, you brought up it was a good question. Good question, Matthew.
I have no, it's totally okay, Matthew. Because that's why we started doing these interviews with Eric Glesser on FFIB. Because if you were to look on the internet, at least last time I checked, maybe he's expanded his reach since then. If you were to search Eric Glesser interview on the internet, you'll get Blade HQ and you'll get Knife Center interviews at SHOT Show. And that's all the Eric Glesser content you get for the year, it seems like, on the internet until we started interviewing and asking all the questions that we wanted to hear answers to. But he definitely doesn't have time to talk to every single dealer and go on every single person's YouTube channel. So I get it.
Dude. Yes. And also, yeah, again, like Blade HQ doesn't need us. They don't need our help. We're just a knife club on the internet, but it would be nice to be able to communicate with them. It would be nice to be able to tell them like what's going on, and when people are complaining about things that are not fair, or excuse me, when people have accusations against Blade HQ that I don't think are fair to Blade HQ, it would be nice to be able to help them put the fire out, right?
Exactly.
Dude, we just talked about Vero. Did you guys know you could buy Veros at Smoky Mountain Knife Works right now? They're in stock right now. Are they in stock? It says out of stock. Oh, no. Out of stock. This is a good problem to have, I guess. Out of stock. Add to cart. There we go. We found one.
Impulse Mini.
Dude, I love the Impulse Mini. Tom, this might be my favorite Vero.
Impulse Mini is pretty good.
Impulse Mini is really good.
Oh, that's right. That has like the semi-tonto shaped tip too.
Hey, Tyler, take that jacked up, worn out, sod covered bug out of your pocket and run down to the counter. Have TC help maybe. Get yourself, yes, I'm over 18.
Ooh, what are we going to see? Something really delicious?
Run down there to the Vero counter, Tyler, and grab yourself one of these and put it in your pocket, and you will be happy. You'll be very happy. The wonderful thing about the Vero Impulse Mini is that it's not that mini. It's actually the size of a Holt Spectre. It's the size approximately of a PM2.
Oh, this is a Slim Pulse. This isn't a mini, but they're not much smaller than this.
What's that, Tom?
This is a Slim Pulse. I forgot. It's not a mini. It's different.
I got one right now. I actually have 9 Veros, Tom.
Damn.
9. I have 9 of them. So Impulse Mini is let's see if I can I solo? Yes, I can. Look at that. So the Impulse Mini is a really nice size. It's a good sized knife. I think it's a 3.5 inch blade. We'll find out in a minute. But with a Tanto on it, nice beefy blade. Really an awesome knife. Great size. You can finger flick it. You got the Vero flipper tab on the back. Just an awesome knife. Let's see. Full screen layout. There we go. So in stock right now. Pretty awesome knife. This is the all stone wash. And what else do we have?
Is there a Synapse XL in there somewhere?
There is. Out of stock. Out of stock. Out of stock. Jade. Oh, cool. No, the Jade's in stock, huh?
Yeah.
Synapse XL will just make you giggle. It's such a good knife.
What I would do is pick the version you want. If it's not in stock, I bet if you click that add to wish list button, it will send you an email when it does come back into stock.
I bet it will. That Jade looks sweet on the DLC.
It does.
I dare say it looks better than the Ultim.
I'm not a big Ultim fan, so I've always liked the Jade, the tone, the hue of that color.
Yeah. Actually, funny story. I gave that knife away to a roulette dealer at SHOT Show. So when I was maybe over a year ago, Tom, I was at Smoky Mountain with Scott Gunn, and he was showing his stropping compound, and Tyler pulled a knife out of his pocket. It might have been the dullest knife in the world. Like it had 2 spines. It was that dull. And he's like, yeah, it's a good little knife. I've been carrying it a long time. I use it for everything. Like, well, I could tell. And Gunny just did one of those things. Like he's got this move, like he's buying 2x4s at Home Depot, and he was looking at it like this, and then he checked it, and then he stropped it, and it came out sharper than hell. It was pretty funny. I'll see what my Vero situation is and get that fixed. You got some good models in stock. It's I'm kind of cool to see them out of stock too. That means it worked. I love it.
Having things be that's a very good point. Like things being out of stock is awesome because it means things are selling, and not everything can be in stock all the time because otherwise nothing would sell. There'd be no, I don't know. I like seeing stuff sell out. I like the excitement of you have to get something when it's available. It's not just perennially up there. It makes it a little more exciting.
What? Here's more. +1. Cutlery Shop has 9 Vero models in stock in case Smoky Mountain is out. Yes, and there's more of them to get. Sweet, Jeff. I didn't know they were in stock. That's awesome. Oh, dude, Brian's here. Brian.
Ooh.
Oh my God.
Was
Not
that
to change the subject, but Brian Roden, everybody. Man, he's a legend around here. You know Brian as the wise and wizened mail carrier that will drop in and drop some knowledge on you guys from time to time. So Brian is actually having surgery. He's having heart surgery Tuesday. He's having a valve replacement, if I remember right. Brian, how you feeling, man? Hope you're well. I hope you're doing okay. Yeah, Paula got it. Good luck Tuesday, Brian. Uh-oh. Cutler Shop has thin pulses. Brian's feeling fine, just scared. So, Brian, if you want to talk to somebody about it, I know Eric Shepard had a valve replacement, maybe 2 years ago. So he's been there, done that. So he felt a lot better once it was in. The recovery was daunting, but the blood flow improvement, it was definitely a good thing. So send him a DM if you got questions. I already told him that you were having a surgery, so maybe you guys have already talked. Looks like Sean Houston gave away his 15V Shaman at the show. Tom, you ever had anybody hand you a knife at a knife show?
Yeah. Just one or two. Really one. This one. It's just like a BD1 knife. Eric Lesser gave me this out of his pocket one time. I guess that counts as being
Eric Lesser reached in his pocket and handed you a Para 3 lightweight.
Well, it's not. It wasn't a Para 3 lightweight yet because this is actually the prototype. So
right.
I mean,
you had the working concept model.
Yeah. The working concept was used and abused out of Eric's pocket, which makes it even better.
Didn't you say it would barely open?
Yeah, it was the worst action. I thought I did not like Para 3 lightweights based on this example because I could barely open the damn thing.
Looks like you fixed it.
Oh yeah, it's dialed in now.
All right, good. Brian, we love you, buddy. We know you're going to be fine. It's just scary and it's a lot to take on, I know. But we'll be here when you get back. Hopefully by Saturday you'll be able to watch the show. Just don't laugh, okay? Because your chest is going to hurt. Like where they sew you back up. Yeah.
I would just avoid any video content with me and Jason on it because it's just too comical. To
stay away from any magnets. Don't get too close to any magnets. You want it to hold the valve open. You'll black out. Looks like Jeff was standing next to you when Eric gave it to you, and he was jealous.
Good old Oregon Knife Show. They just announced it. They put the thing up on Facebook today. Oregon Knife Collectors Association. I was actually talking about this last night. So obviously you hear me and Jason talk about knife shows. Jason goes to some different ones than I go to in the Midwest. I've gone to like Blade Show, and I go to this one in Eugene, Oregon called the Oregon Knife Collectors Association show, which is like mid-April, I think April 14th-ish. It's a little rinky-dink, not even that little. It's very different than our world that we live in the Spyderco world. Even the different stuff you see people post in the group, this is a show that if you want to buy a Chinese out the front automatic, a deer horn, a Kershaw second, and some Damascus steel, a big chunk of it. This is the kind of show where you go to buy that kind of random stuff. And randomly, there's people like Jeff Lawfer who shows up there and has a table, and Spyderco, and they don't have a big booth.
Tom, what about deer hoof?
That's badass.
Can you get a deer hoof knife?
You might. But the reason I bring this show up is if you're in Northern California or in Oregon or in Idaho, maybe even Washington, and you want to meet Eric Lesser, go to the Oregon Knife Collectors Association show. Most people at the show won't recognize Eric Lesser because they're not there for Spydercos. They're just there to check this show out. So it's the best place you can go have a conversation with a dude. And people always ask, where can you buy those factory seconds? Here. That is where you buy factory seconds, is that knife show. He brings trays upon trays upon trays of factory seconds. He just stands there and slangs them, and you can talk to him, and it's a great time. That's where I met Eric the first time, and going to that show was what sealed me into this hobby to the way I am now. $350 tables, great knife show. Triple B and Jeff will be there again. Last year, Rich Cox was there. I went to lunch with Rich Cox. We went and had crab. Speaking of crab in a bag, I had some crab with Rich. It was a great time. So yeah, if you're anywhere near the West Coast, you want to go to a different show than a blade show or a custom knife show, you want to go to somewhere that Spyderco is actually going to be at, here's your excuse.
So I know Seth is watching. Seth, I have your PM2 here. Seth sent this to me because he's having trouble opening it. It just doesn't want to open right. And I've taken it apart and put it back together twice, and I cannot get this stupid knife to work, Seth. It's all the lock bar's fault. Watch this, Tom. If I squeeze the lock bar, the blade moves just fine. But this lock bar is just really sluggish, and I can't figure out why. Now, this is one of the aluminum handle knives from Blade HQ. Yeah. Our old friends over at Blade HQ. I tried to come up with a funny name for BHQ. This has a weird knife. This is a weird knife because the lock bar only goes from here to there, and then it pins underneath the standoff. So it's a little tiny slice of steel there. But I cannot get this knife to open right, Seth. I mean, your options are basically to send it back to Spyderco and have them tell you that you can have store credit. Maybe you can combine with a coupon code. Or
if it's the lock bar insert, if it's the part that's the lock bar inserted into the scale, they should still in theory make that part because it's going to be on the PM2 lightweight. So they should have something if that's the same.
I don't think it's bent. Like bending the lock bar on this knife is hard. You need a bench vise or a couple of really big Knipex pliers, like the big ones. You know, the big one. If you don't have that, you're not gonna be able to bend it because it's kind of hard to bend. But I don't even know that it has too much pressure. It just doesn't feel like it's working right. Also, the detent doesn't feel like it goes into the detent hole. Like there's no latency there. You know what I'm talking about, Tom? The detent ball doesn't grab it. So it doesn't feel like maybe it's not seated properly.
Have you tried different blades with those liners?
No.
Eliminate, see if it's the blade or the liner. Try that out.
Seth, your ball's too big. Might be a solution, honestly, is to change the detent ball size so it goes deeper. Are the scales flat? Great question. Scales are flat. I got a suggestion for you guys. Spend $80 and buy yourself some really, really good rulers. Really? So General makes this ruler.
Okay.
This is not very expensive. This is probably $10 to $15 these days. This ruler has 30/2 of an inch across the top, and it has 64ths of an inch across the bottom. And on the back, it has a conversion chart that shows you fraction to decimal. This ruler is phenomenal for measuring things very, very precisely. And then it also has a little pocket clip thingy that slides up and down. So you can kind of set a measurement and you can test with it. So some people like feeler gauges. This is sort of like the opposite of a feeler gauge, but Really, really accurate ruler, and it's super straight. This ruler does 30 seconds and 64ths on one side, and then it goes with tenths of an inch on the other side. So the rest of the universe uses decimals, and we should too. We stubbornly hold on to fractions for no good reason. So if you want to know thousandths of an inch using a ruler instead of calipers, this kind of does that for you. And then lastly, this is just a really, really good 6-inch ruler. And we have centimeters across the top. We have inches across the bottom, but just a really nice, stout, well-made ruler. And one thing you can do with this, somebody told me just to test the flatness of the scales. So I can take the ruler and I can put it up against the scales, and I can look at the gap between the scale and the ruler. And if it looks like it's flat, it's probably flat. So really, really good straight edges, really, really precise measurements. So a little tip from Uncle Jason. The 64ths of an inch ruler, by the way, is phenomenal for guitars. That's where it's really nice.
Man, this has been a marathon of an episode already, hasn't it?
It has. Yeah, decent calipers. Don't buy shitty calipers. I think I have 3 sets of calipers, and the shitty ones are just awful.
My battery died. My calipers. I'm not going to replace the battery. I'm going to buy new calipers because my Amazon purchase was not worth it.
This was going to be my replacement caliper. I recommend not buying them from Amazon. Like go to Weehaw or go to Granger, somewhere that sells good shit. This one is wonderful, and it's easy to use and it glides nice. The problem with it, Tom, is the moment you turn it on, it always says 2 or 3 thousandths, even when it's close all the way up. So I have to zero it every time I use it.
Oh, it does. You can zero it though, at least, right?
I can zero it, but why do I have to zero it every time I use it?
Know where your zero is, right?
Yeah, maybe it should know where the zero is. So
yeah,
an analog gauge caliper is nice once you're used to it, but if you're not used to it, it's annoying. So you definitely want to buy good tools, use good tools.
I say that this is a general life philosophy about buying things that last a long time in this hobby. You're going to use these tools on your knives, treat them with respect. It's fun to invest in nice things.
I didn't know that, Jeff. Holy cow. I'm going to be getting all my bits from Hope now. Those little Weehaw or the little Knipex pliers that you found and recommended to everybody, those are invaluable. They're so good.
But they cost $45, Jason.
Yeah, well, the next knife you buy is going to cost a lot more than that.
The part number on these Knipex, they're called pliers wrenches. There's a funny name, pliers wrench. It's 8603-125. Everyone asks me what size I recommend. The 125 millimeter, it's the 125 size, is the size that has rubber grip still. It's the smallest size that comes with rubber coated grips. There's one size smaller than this.
There's a real reason why you're going to want that one. It's the exact size you need to grab a standoff inside a PM2 or a Para 3 without damaging anything. And also, you want the plier wrenches, not the other ones. Don't buy the ones with the teeth on it.
The Cobra wrenches, the Cobra pliers cost 1/3 as much as the pliers wrench cost.
The Cobra wrenches are for grabbing things that you don't care about. Yeah, look at that. But you guys can see on this pliers wrench that I'm holding, the mouth is smooth, just like a crescent wrench. But better than a crescent wrench, you're not fucking with that stupid little screw that comes loose all the time as you're using the crescent wrench. You're just squeezing on the pliers, and then there's a button here that allows you to adjust the mouth of the tool.
So these are sold as a replacement to a crescent wrench. The biggest difference, if you're using this in the same application, the harder you squeeze or twist on a crescent wrench, the looser it gets because that little thing backs out. The harder you squeeze on these, the harder it grips because the way these are built.
Let me show you what's in stock at Cutlery Shop. Since we did one, let's do the other. Over at Cutlery Shop, Jeff's got some Veros in stock. It looks like we've got Got some Synapse Minis. Sweet. Look at that.
Yeah.
Synapse XLs. We got an XL micarta. Got some cool ones in stock. Synapse Mini, by the way, guys, is that's a phenomenal 2.9. 2.87-inch blade. So we've got a knife that's slightly smaller than a Para 3 with a bolster lock. That's awesome.
That can't be too much. So that's the Mini. Is it? It's not a ton smaller than the regular Synapse, right? The regular Synapse is probably like a 3 1/4-inch blade.
No, the regular Synapse is a 3.4-inch blade. This is a 2.87, so it's small. It's significantly smaller.
Okay.
But where that really matters is in the pocket. This is almost like a fifth pocket knife if you wanted to keep it in your coin pocket in your jeans.
Mm-hmm.
It's awesome. Looks like we got lots of Synapse Minis in a variety of colors. Then we got some XLs. The XL, by the way, his micarta, guys, Vero sources the micarta in the U.S. and then he ships it to the factory to be installed on the knives. Like he sources his own micarta because he wants it perfect. And when it comes to you, it's rough. And it's rough on purpose so you can do whatever you want with it. You can wax it. You can oil it. You can rub it on your forehead. You can sand it. So what some guys will do is they'll actually sand it until it's smoother and then oil it. Wes Newman used to say that the best solution was to sand it smooth and then blast it with a bead blast. And I don't have bead blasting, but that's what he liked to do with it. He said that gave you the best feel. So the cool thing about his micarta again is that you can customize it, and it will get darker over time just from the oils in your skin touching the knife. Man, that XL, the micarta looks cool.
One of our new members of the group, he was on the Zoom call or whatever you want to call it last night with us. He was showing off his crew carta, and he's a very much of a collector type of person who wants things to look new. And he has a crew carta, so he says he just keeps on cleaning it. He keeps on cleaning that micarta, keeps on getting the oil off of it. Yeah, micarta definitely picks up some color, which is what's cool about it.
And if you need to pull all the oil out of your micarta because you want it to look good as new again, buy yourself a jug of this VM&P naphtha. It'll dissolve all the oil out of it without damaging the scale, and you'll be left with an oil-free micarta.
Well, Jason, it is Tiffany's birthday today.
Oh my!
Guess how young she is. I'm not gonna say guess how old she is. It's more like guess how young she is, and she's freaking out about it.
27.
She's turning 29. This is the last year of her
29.
Oh. It's
yeah,
not
29. I was good at 29. 30 felt weird. I cared more about 30 than 40. I don't know why.
Oh, I care way more about 40 than I do about 30, but I was in a different mental place, I guess. But it's her birthday tonight. You're going to party it up.
Good.
She should.
Well, tell Tiffany I said hey.
I will. She sent out an RSVP for her party all of this morning, I think.
Did you ever ask her if she thinks the NFL is rigged?
I haven't yet. I haven't really seen her much yet since you asked me that.
Tiffany used to dabble a little in
point spreads.
Point spreads, yes. And yeah, I'm sure she has strong opinions on it. We'll have to get her on the show and
dabble is a kind word.
You know about the logo conspiracy theory, right?
The logo conspiracy theory? I don't think so.
The Super Bowl logo.
No, you mentioned this the other day. I don't think we ever finished the conversation. No, I don't.
The whole conspiracy that the NFL pre-selects who's going to be in the Super Bowl, and they've been telegraphing it with the logo design. And if you look at the last 3 or 4 Super Bowls, and you look at the colors that are represented in the Super Bowl logo, they match the teams that played in the Super Bowl. So this year, the colors are purple and red. And there's only 2 teams left in the playoffs that have purple and red, and that would be the Ravens and the 49ers.
Ooh.
So I think, or is it Kansas City?
Kansas City's still in it, isn't? They're both red. They're red and yellow and red and gold.
Kansas City and Baltimore, I think, is what everybody's saying is going to happen. So sorry, Detroit. Detroit, you had a good season for the first time in 2 generations. You had a good season. So this might be the end for you because they might have already decided that that's the way it needs to go. Anyway. Look at these nerds.
Garnet.
It's Garnet. Apologize. Indiana University is not red and white. They're cream and crimson. And Purdue is not black and gold. They're black and old gold, Tom.
Ooh, old gold.
And I believe that if Michigan is not blue and yellow, Tom, how dare you? They're blue and maize.
Oh, obviously. I love maize. A good old pop maize.
Who doesn't love maize?
Maize on the cob. Cream maize.
Maize, we segue out of this episode.
Yeah. So I don't think I'm going to sharpen tonight, Jason, but what I do think I'm going to do is I'm going to put another StreamYard link up in the group tonight. If anyone wants to hop in this room, like me and Jason right now are talking to each other on camera, I'm going to open another one of these windows, and we're not going to broadcast it, so no one's going to see you on camera except for each other. And if you want to come hang out, I'll set one up, and you guys can bullshit and talk. We did it last night. It was fun. You don't have to talk. You can just get on there and show off some knives and say hi to your friends or whatever. But I'll post a link, and anyone's welcome. I'll let you in, and I'll manage it.
I think we have a new sign-off.
Stay
great
moist.
show, Tom. Stay moist.
You can't top that. Can't top it.
Moist. Bye, kids.
Bye.